Welcome to What's Up with Bowling Green Winlectric. We're your go-to podcast for lighting tips, interior design insights, and expert advice on all things home, electrical, and design. Join us as we chat with local guests, electricians, and designers as we dive into the world of DIY tips, building ideas, and indoor-outdoor home solutions to help you create the perfect ambiance indoors and out.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us today with What's Up with Winlectric. Of course, I'm Sean Willis with Bowling Green Winlectric, and we are joined today by Matt Mutter of the Barren County Veterans Association. Do you see how I made it through the start there okay?
That's great. Yeah.
That's great.
Practice this.
It's rough sometimes. Okay, well, Matt, if you don't mind, could you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what got you into the Veterans Association?
Well, I am a Navy veteran. My family has some veterans in it. My father-in-law is retired Navy. I have a stepson who is active Navy right now.
Wow.
So a lot of military history in my family, and I'm from right here in Barren County. I'm retired law enforcement from here in Barren County, which my Navy career kind of led into that line of work. That's what I had planned the whole time. And I'm just an old homegrown Barren County boy.
Gotcha. Well, that's awesome. I can see how it kind of going through the family led you into that. Right. Can you tell us, and this is probably going to be a much longer little soliloquy there, but could you tell us about what the association is at the heart of it?
The Barren County Veterans Association is designed to be, I would call it a group, maybe a conglomerate of all the other veterans organizations in a county.
Oh, okay.
Because we have several. We have you have the DAV, Disabled American Veterans. We have the American Legion. We have the VFW. We have a group called the Freedom Warriors. So there's not just one organization. We all kind of come together. We also have the auxiliary to the DAV, which is if you are not a veteran, you can join the auxiliary, DAV auxiliary, and still help in veteran activities.
Oh, wow.
So even people who, they usually have relatives that were military or some background, but you don't even have to be a veteran if you want to help. You can join the auxiliary. But this organization plans our annual Memorial Day events. We put flags out at the city cemetery every Memorial Day. It's about, I think last time I checked, was about 1,300 flags.
Wow.
So it takes a while. And then the Veterans Day events. We always have a Veterans Day parade and a Veterans Day dinner. So as head of the Barren County Veterans Association, I'm usually the one that heads up all of those activities and does the organizing.
Wow, that sounds like that would take up quite a bit of time.
I have a lot of help. I just kind of point people in the right directions, and I've got so many people that help. My wife being one included. She makes sure I've got the right shoes on and the right tie and all that kind of stuff. But we've got so many veterans organizations and veterans in this area that'll show up. Every year South Central Bank puts on a big breakfast for Veterans Day.
Oh, wow.
And that's become a really big thing in this area. It's always very well attended and very well received. But it's just people love our veterans in Barren County.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. I will admit I'm definitely not apprised of what the Veterans Association really did or anything like that. But in talking with Savannah, who helps us organize the podcast, she's with Studio 22, and I know
right.
I'm pretty sure you know Savannah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I'd really like to do something kind of for the 4th, right?
Yeah,
on
right.
a podcast that would have something to do revolving around the 4th. And I'm like, I'm not going to talk about hot dogs and cookouts,
yeah, right.
But and she actually mentioned, well, Evie has,
right.
Her husband, which is your stepson, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And
so you already know the background, see?
Well, no, yes and no. I just knew that little bit.
Yeah.
I know Evie from the coffee shop,
yeah.
but that was pretty much it. And but and I'm just bogarted a big portion of this. I've already talked longer than I meant to, but basically I wanted us to give a little platform. Once she mentioned that idea, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's perfect, you know. And I believe we're going to be airing this on the 4th.
That'd be perfect.
Is I believe what we're shooting, which is coming up really quick, you know, because we're just a few days away from that. So thank you, WCOU, for making this happen where we can get this to air on the 4th. But, okay, so you mentioned that there's several different organizations, and you, as Barren County Association and leading that, Barren County Veterans Association, you help pull all that together.
Right.
So my guess is there's a lot of other things than those kind of, air quote, big events that you talked about that this association does.
Those are our two main ones that we do each year, but a couple other things. Most people know we have the Veterans Wall of Honor here, right here on the square, which I think now has over 15 to 1,600 names on it.
Wow.
And why people put me in charge of these things, I'm in charge of that too. So to get your name on there, you go through City Hall. You can go on the City of Glasgow website. There's an application, the process to go through. Those applications come to me. I have the plaques made up, and we put them on the wall.
Wow.
And we usually have to have about 30 or 40 before we put a group of them up. So sometimes it takes a year or two before we accumulate that many names to put on the wall.
Gotcha.
So that doesn't happen. Matter of fact, we just put some on about a month ago. We put about 70 names on there, I think.
Wow.
So it was a pretty big addition. Another thing we just started a couple years ago is veteran banners around the square. And what we did, we started off, I think, with 12, maybe 16 names. And we got veterans' photos, their names, their years of service, their branch of service, and we made banners, made like flags, and put them on the light poles around the square. Well, that was a big hit. So last year, I think we had maybe 24, and we went around the courthouse too. So that I've already got names for this year. So that,
gotcha.
And we'll put those up a couple weeks before Veterans Day. And shout out to Mayor Royce and the city workers. They help out immensely on that.
That's awesome. That's such a cool thing. I've seen those myself. I'm not a Glasgow resident. I actually live in Smiths Grove,
right.
But I am in Glasgow very often, and I saw those. And you know, even though I'm not aware of what went into any of that, I was like, man, that's just really cool.
Well, and I got the idea. I was traveling to some relatives' houses in Mississippi a few years ago and saw them in there, and I thought, well, if they can do that in Tupelo, Mississippi, we can do that here.
Right.
And now I've had other towns, the city of Tompkinsville called me and wanted to know how we did it and how now they're doing it. They're doing the same thing.
Dude, that's so awesome.
It's good, just snowballs, and it goes around to different areas of the state.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, are there? One of the things that I was kind of curious about is what happens to some of these veterans, from someone who is not in the know, so to speak, of veterans affairs of any sort. One of the things I'm always kind of curious about is what happens with some of the veterans out there as they begin to age. Maybe they've been on disability or something. Maybe they didn't have much family, or they've lost a lot of the family they've had. Right. What happens with some of these people, and are there programs in place to help them, whether or not it's through the Barren County Veterans Association or some of the other ones that conglomerate comes together?
There are programs. As a matter of fact, you may be aware of the new Veterans Nursing Home that opened up in Bowling Green. It's brand new. It doesn't hold a whole lot of people, but it is. I mean, we've got it started, and it's brand new. But the worst part is you have to go. If you live in Glasgow, you have to go to maybe Nashville or Louisville or Murfreesboro, wherever. You have to go. I had to go to for my hearing. I have a loss of hearing from my service, and I had to go to Nashville and get tested. And, I couldn't do that around here. Some of those veterans don't have transportation to those doctor's appointments or to the hospital. Luckily, we have the DAV here that helps transport people. I know the group called the Freedom Warriors has transported many people to medical appointments, and that's what it takes. But the sad part is a lot of our people are getting older.
Right.
You know, I'm almost 56 years old, and I'm one of the youngest ones in the group.
Gotcha.
And that's just the truth. You know, that's the reality of it. And these guys that are 75, 80, 85 years old, they're not always going to be able to do this and help people. I mean, they love to do it, but sometimes they're just not physically able.
Sure.
The DAV guys that do the firing of the rifles at funerals.
Right.
They're local guys, live right here, and I would say the average age is probably 75 to 80. Wow. 70 to 80, somewhere in there. And it's sad that we can't get more younger veterans involved. I work a full-time job also, but so I can't really participate in a lot of that. But we're going to need some people to step up in years to come. But if anybody does need help, I receive calls all the time. Somebody needs help to a ride to Bowling Green. Or I've taken people to Bowling Green myself before. There's an office down there where you can file claims and things like that. But just reach out to me. I'm not a hard person to find. I think everybody in this side of the Mississippi's got my phone number. I'm not hard to find, but just reach out to me. We'll make it work somehow.
Gotcha. That's kind of, kind of the sad part about it, but definitely something I wanted to ask about. Yep. Now, you mentioned previously, if you aren't a veteran, but you would like to help with some of these organizations, you can submit to become an auxiliary member. And a matter of fact, we meet tonight. The DAV has a meeting on Tuesday nights. I think it's the third Tuesday of each month. It's tonight, whichever one that is. And the auxiliary meets the same time we do. And the clubhouse is, it's on the left, go out 1297, and it's on the left right before you get to Donnelly Drive. It's kind of back off the road. It's a little block building, and that's where we meet on the third Tuesday of each month. Gotcha. And
the auxiliary meets. We have a meal. We have the auxiliary has their meeting. We have our meeting. And those... Most of the auxiliary people are women. You don't have to be female to be a member of auxiliary, but they do so much. They help decorate for our veterans dinner. This Saturday that we have a veterans luncheon, female veterans luncheon this Saturday. I've been advertising on Facebook, and it's been a big hit for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And the ladies, the auxiliary really helps with that too. They set all that up.
So do you previously, I'm jumping all around here. I do that all the time.
That's fine.
I guess I got, the ADHD or the TISM or something that just keeps me going everywhere. But what you mentioned about, being auxiliary, of course, but you also mentioned offering rides for people. Do you have to be an auxiliary member to be able to transport?
No, you wouldn't have to be a member.
Okay.
Just volunteer. If you want to volunteer, reach out to me. We'll put you on the list. Because I get people that call me all the time and say, hey, I don't have a ride to my doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
I had to reschedule 2 or 3 months out. But
so you keep a running list of people?
I have. Most of the time if they'll call me, and then I will kind of turn them over to somebody else that will transport them. But,
gotcha.
but we'll get them there. Whatever we have to do, we'll get them there.
Yeah, so I wonder if there's a way to, this is not really something to discuss right now probably, but I wonder if there's a way that you could either have like a Facebook group or something just for the transportation, so if somebody's like, hey, I need a ride, it might be easier to coordinate amongst all of the people who are willing to give rides.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because, if I was available, I certainly wouldn't care to give somebody a ride, but I wouldn't, it wouldn't be something that my wife schedules me for stuff month ahead. So, but yeah, that to me, that's like the easiest thing you could ever do is give somebody a ride. But if you don't have transportation or you don't have family to help with that, that's very valuable.
Yeah, that's you think you and I don't think much about driving from here to Bowling Green, but if you don't have that ride and you've got maybe you got $50 in your bank account, you don't have the means to get there. Yeah. And all you're wanting to do is go to a doctor's appointment and and try to get your disability started from your service.
Go or I don't know if they go to Social Security or whatever those things. Maybe talk to somebody about your Medicaid or Medicare or whatever. I mean, when you come out of the service, I know you have, your health care's, provided for with the government or whatever, but I don't really know what that entails because I'm not in the know. Yeah. But
and I can give you a good example of people wanting to help. It's been, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, maybe longer. We had a employee of the county government here in Barren County. His wife was diagnosed with cancer, and he was a former employee of the school system, but then he went to work for the county government building. And some of us found out about it within about 24 hours. We raised like $15,000 for him.
Wow, that is so awesome. And
I mean, that was just by word of mouth, by Facebook, by texting, whatever. And that was a good day.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that would what that would feel like.
Yeah, man. It was good. It was good.
So that's so crazy that you just mentioned that, because my next question was going to be monetarily. What if anybody wanted to just donate, whether they don't want to donate time or donate money, what are the ways, the avenues of which they can do that?
You can always donate money to the Veterans Association, which I'm over the bank account and all that, but that money goes to pay for the meal for the Veterans Day dinner. No veteran pays for the dinner. All veterans eat free, and we usually have about 220 people show up, and we'll have a guest speaker, and it's a good crowd. We do it at the National Guard Armory every year, and that money can go back to help pay for those meals. Sometimes we have people donate money to the wall. Say somebody wanted to put a name on the wall, but they didn't have the $45 to do it. People will say, they'll give me $45 and say, give that to somebody and let them, put that towards a name on the wall.
Right.
And I'll do that too. That would be the easiest ways. Of course, any veterans organization would accept monetary donations, I'm sure. The guys that do the DAV Honor Guard that does the funerals and things, there are people there's one guy in particular that pays for all their gas. Wow. They don't pay for gas at all. There's another guy in town that Sherfy's Garage, I can't think of what he calls it, Sherfy's Center here in town. He does all the maintenance for free on their vehicle.
That is so amazing.
It's people like that, the Sherfys and the people that buy the gas, people that buy food for them. Especially like when COVID was on, sometimes they were doing 2 or 3 funerals a day. Wow. And that, that's hard to believe, but we all know how crazy that time was.
Yeah.
But they would leave at 8 o'clock in the morning and not get back till 8 o'clock at night, and they've got to eat somewhere in between. And people were buying their meals, and it's just awesome what people.
But what a responsibility that must be for the. I mean, honestly, that. Whew, I'm going to tell you, I got my feels a little bit there, man, because just to think of the emotional pressure of going to those events, it's like you said, 2 or 3 times a day sometimes. Whew, that's got to be heavy. But anyway, that's not. I don't want to be a big downer. But so I'm glad we got to that point, because that was my number one reason really of wanting to have this conversation, and is to find out how people could help. So what is the easiest way for them to reach out to you or the organization? Is that through Facebook? You
can do it through Facebook, or my cell phone number is 270-646-6456. You can text, call anytime. It doesn't matter.
Could we write that down to add that in on the screen, maybe?
Kelly's got my number. Okay. Todd's got it. I think they've all got it up here. James Brown has my number.
Wow, everybody. You're right. Everybody's got your number.
I'm telling you, they've all got it. I've had the same number for 30 years.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we're getting that. Maybe even tagged at the end of the radio part, but definitely on our social media, because we air these on our social media platforms as well, so we can put that on the screen.
Yep.
And then the Facebook page?
Just my personal Facebook page is fine. I think the DAV Auxiliary has a Facebook page, which my wife is a part of, and that you can reach us through that, Facebook or text, email, or whatever.
Does the Barren County Veterans Association have a Facebook page?
We do not have one.
Do not. Okay. No worries. I just wanted to. And if once they reach out to you, then you could work out if they wanted to donate or something, or
we can figure out what they want to do. We don't really have a veterans center here in Glasgow, but Bowling Green does have one. They collect I think maybe canned goods and hygiene items and clothes and that kind of thing. Okay. So if you did feel like you want to do something like that, we could get that stuff down there. I had a lady, her husband was a veteran, passed away recently, and she wanted to just donate all his clothes to a veterans organization.
So you take new and used clothes?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, they'll take it all.
That's good to know, too.
Yep.
All right. Well, I've already pushed it a little bit more than I probably should have on the time, but I wanted to make sure we got some of that really good information about what we could do to help our community come together and really help this. It's an amazing association, amazing organization. Myself, I'm really glad that you're leading that and taking that on. I know that's a heavy responsibility for you, but thank you for doing that. I don't have anybody in my family anymore. I did have an uncle that served. My dad was in the Merchant Marines. I'll be honest with you, I don't even know what that means, but that was way before I was around. Right. So I do have some family, but none of them are around anymore. So I'm glad to see that there are people that are here to help those who need.
Well, and I will say, people need to realize how lucky we are to have, I guess, the public officials in this area, because there's nobody in this area I couldn't call right now and tell them I have a need. The mayor, the county judge, magistrate, city council, they'd be on it. They'd be on it tonight.
That's
There's
awesome.
Not a doubt in my mind.
So glad.
We're lucky.
We want to complain about government. I mean, look, I do. I'll admit.
Everybody does.
I'm a complainer by nature.
Yeah.
But also, I know that we are so thankful we should be very thankful. And I am very grateful of so many things around here.
Yep.
And, anyway.
For a small town, we do pretty good for ourselves.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
Mike, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Yep.
Guys, I think that's going to tie us up today. Please reach out to Mike or the organization via phone number or Facebook if you'd like to donate your time and or money. It's obviously an amazing organization, helping so many people in the past and present. So thank you for listening. Reach out to him for any help you might be able to give. See you guys.